Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Better You, Better World, where we know that God took his time to create us. So, today we are going to be getting into a topic that is so interesting and needs to be talked about. So, if this is your first time, my name is Basie. Welcome. And if you are returning, thank you for continuing this journey with me. So, today, I have a question. Have you ever loved someone so deeply, but you still felt misunderstood or find yourself saying things like, that's not what I meant after an argument? Many relationships, whether it's marital relationship, friendship, family, friends, all types of relationships, break down not because of lack of love, but it breaks down because of poor communication. And that's what we're going to dive in today. So today we're going to be talking about communication in relationship and what God says about communication. Why does it matter? Why is it so important? And we're going to talk about ways in which communication can bring about healing instead of hurt. So, communication is a bridge between hearts, between people, between community. And when communication is healthy, you have relationships that flourish, that grow, and it's just beautiful. But when there is poor communication and broken communication, you have relationship that break down, and broken communication. When you have broken communication, even strong relationship starts to suffer when there is broken communication. So we are going to get into what God says about communication and how it brings about building a community, building a couple, building friendship, and how it strengthens and restores relationship. And why is communication so important? Why does it matter? We're going to look at James 1:19, and it says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. So you should be able to listen to understand, and not listen to respond. You When someone is talking to you, you're already in your head formulating your answer before the person even finishes. So we need to be slow. We need to listen, slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to become angry. You don't, because sometimes when the situation is heated with whoever you're in a relationship, whether your spouse, your friend, or whatever it is, you want to get angry. And you get angry because, hey, you're having an argument, you're having a disagreement, and all of that stuff. But in order to foster great relationship, healthy relationship, we need to be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to get angry. Because when we are formulating our answer and not really listening to what the person's saying, you misinterpret stuff, which can somehow leads to break we can somehow lead to breakdown in relationships and friendships and all of that stuff. So communication matters because it builds connection, not division. Effective communication builds connection. It brings people together and not tear them apart. Because when you're communicating effectively, you're listening to understand and trying to, you know, understand what is going on. You come together. It doesn't divide you all. And it creates trust, not insecurity. So if you're communicating effectively with someone, you guys listen to each other, considering each other's feelings, you get to trust the person. Then you're not left to trying to figure out or be guessing what someone is saying to you, because you were talking to them and you're having a conversation to really, you know, come to a conclusion that will be effective to solve whatever issue or problem it is. And good communication, effective communication produces peace, not conflict. And love cannot grow where communication is unhealthy. If there is unhealthy communication, there's going to be problems, a whole lot of problems. And we don't want that. We want to eliminate those problems so we can have fruitful, healthy, successful relationship with whoever it is that's in our lives. And there are some common communication problems. If communication is not done effectively, there are some problems that show up. And some of those issues or problem includes making assumption instead of asking questions. If someone is talking to you, a friend, a spouse, whoever you're in a relationship with, if there if this says something and you don't understand and you start to assume, oh, this said this, so maybe this what it is. No. If you don't understand something, ask questions. Don't just assume in your head and have all this conversation in your head, which most of the time can be wrong. Sit with your friend, your partner, whoever it is, and ask question if this says something to you. Because assumption leads to bigger issue. You assuming something that is not even it. I remember when I was in undergrad, I was taking this marriage and family class, and we had to do an exercise to practice effective communication. You sit with your partner, the person tell you, communicate something to you, and you listen. And after they get done talking, you have to reiterate, say back to them what this is. So what I hear you say is, and say what you heard. And if you repeat that back to the person, and if you miss something, the person said, no, this is what I said. And you have to interpret and say, oh, is this what you meant? And then if you are right, the person will tell you, yes, that's what I meant. If not, they would correct you and tell you, this is what I meant. And it's so effective. It takes away the assumption, the guesswork to be like, oh, he said this or she said this. It might mean this. No, if you don't understand, ask questions. If we're following James 1:19, we're gonna be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to be angry. So if you're in that mindset, you're sitting here and listening and not assuming anything to cause more problem than you need to have in your relationship. And listening to respond instead of listening to understand. That's a problem. Like I said earlier, you are already coming up with your answer before the person even finished speaking. And especially if the conflict is heated, you everybody want to get theirs in. Oh, you got me here, I want to get you here. Or even if the person didn't even try to get you somewhere, but your assumption, you are like, okay, you're in defensive mode already and ready to strike back instead of sitting down, clearing your head and having a fruitful conversation instead of arguing and yelling and all of that stuff, because that doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes the problem worse. You just need to sit down like grown-ups, talk to each other, listen to understand instead of listening to respond. Another huge problem. This one, oh, I don't like this one at all. Huge problem because I have experienced this. Shutting down instead of speaking up. Most people like to shut down. They shut down, they don't want to talk about it. I'm not speaking to you. I'm not going to talk to you for a couple of days, weeks, months. And how can you say you love and care about somebody, but you're okay with not speaking to that person? That's going to lead to the demise and definitely the breakdown of any relationship. If there's issue, talk about it. Don't be afraid to express yourself. You might need some time to, okay, I might need, tell your partner, because that's all part of effective communication. I can't talk about this right now. I need to calm down. And then y'all need to figure out when you can reconvene to have this conversation. But don't just shut down, not talk to the person, even if the person or one party trying to resolve the issue and try to talk to you and joke with you, just, to lighten the environment. But still, you got some people, they are so stuck in their ways and stubborn. It's like, I'm not talking to you, I'm not talking to you. And that stuff fester for days and weeks, and it just gets crazy tension in the home, tension with the family, tension with the friendship. It just be a lot. And then after a while, if that goes on for a long time, that will lead to the breakdown of that relationship, and you do not want that. So do not shut down. Learn how to express yourself. Like, be vulnerable with your friends or your husband or your wife or whatever close relationship you got. Be vulnerable with that person to let them know, hey, this is how you made me feel, and this is how I felt in this moment, and work through that stuff. Because what's the point of having relationship if you can't work through stuff? Is very important, is healthy, is effective to work through whatever it is. Things will not always be great all the time. There will be conflict because people are different people. Everybody's different. So, in order for us to live together, to function together, we have to be able to communicate effectively, resolve conflict, resolve issues, and get back to happy and move on. And a friend of mine mentioned to me, like, in a marital relationship or whatever, it's like you are willing to, she said, you're willing to share bodily fluid with me, but you don't want to let me in and talk to me and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. So let's talk it out, resolve the issue, don't shut down, talk to your partner, talk to your friends to keep that healthy relationship. And whenever issue comes up, you repeat the same thing. Respect each other and resolve the issue. But if you don't have that, you're shutting down, you're making assumptions, you are not listening, you just want to respond. All of that stuff would just be cracking at the foundation of that relationship, which will eventually crumble if it's not taken care of. And another one is like speaking out of anger. We all get angry. And when it comes to communication, it's not just about the words, it's your tone of voice, it's your body language, is all of that included. And if you know you are angry, let yourself calm down and then have that conversation. Because if emotions are high, people are angry, you will say something to hurt that person that you cannot take back. So, as a mature person, to foster a healthy relationship, calm yourself down. Be like, I need a break. You can communicate that I need a break, and whoever that the person is telling they need a break, let them have that break. Don't be all pushy or we need to talk about this now. No, let that person have that break. Then, when all hearts and minds are clear, we can sit down and have a conversation, because the ultimate goal is to resolve issues, not to have it fester and continue for a long time to lead to the demise of the relationship. No, we want to resolve issues, get back to happy. Okay, so don't be speaking out of anger and using silence as a punishment. The same thing, silent treatment. I would cut a speech from you. I'm not talking to you. I gotta hold on to this thing. What you did to me, I didn't like your tone of voice. You yell at me, you cuss at me, whatever the case may be. I'm holding on to it. We're not talking. I'm not talking to you. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm not talking to you. And guess what silence does? It draw you further apart in a romantic or marital or whatever relationship. It would draw you further apart, and that relationship will break down, come to an end if you don't address the issue. You're punishing yourself as well. Our Liberian people have this saying, a child who says the mother is not going to sleep, you're not going to sleep. Because if you think that you're going to be crying all night to keep me up, you're up crying. So you're not sleeping either. So if you think you're punishing your partner, you're also punishing yourself, because ain't nothing going to be going on. There's no conversation being had. Nothing is going. You're not happy. The person is not happy. We're both being punished. So if you think you're punishing me, you crying, I'm up, so you're up too. So to avoid all of that, get rid of the silent treatment. It doesn't help you or the relationship. Talk about stuff. I remember when I did marital counseling, and the pastor said, when you first meet someone, y'all talking all the time. You don't want to go to sleep. Y'all on the phone talking about everything. He said, never stop talking. Never stop talking, because when you stop talking, the enemy, the devil, just need that little slit to come in. And when he get in there, he is going to blow it out of proportion. Come in there with that little slit, he turn it into a quadruple football field. You don't want to let the enemy come in and mess things up by not talking to your partner. And if you claim that you love someone or love your family member, whatever it is, you want to keep that relationship. You want to build on that. You want to have that peace and all that stuff. When you love something, you take care of it. You don't mismanage it and all this stuff. So, for example, men, when they love their cars, they would clean that thing, shine it, do all the extra stuff. They're walking by and see a little speck on there, they're rubbing it to clean it. If you can pay attention, that much attention to a car or whatever thing that you have, pay attention to your wife or your loved one like that. That just shows like, okay, you care. You're not trying to even see a scratch on that car. Don't even want to see no scratch on your wife. If you see her or see your husband not looking too good, oh hey babe, what's going on? Try to be in that serving kind of relationship. If I'm serving you, you serving me. Oh my God, what a relationship that would be. That's what we should all strive to do, and all of that involve having effective communication. Issue come up, work it out and move on down the road. Something else come up again, work it out, keep going and growing together. So silent treatment, oh my gosh, that's a big old no-no. And unaddressed issues, it won't just disappear. If you don't address the issue, just piling up, it will it will it will show up eventually, and then things will blow up out of proportion, that something simple could have been resolved. But if things just piled up and be unaddressed, it's not good. And all of that turns into resentment. And I don't want to be bothered with you. You don't want to be bothered with me. And if we figure we can work this thing out, or be like, okay, let's go get help. Some people refuse help because they feel like they know everything. And nobody can tell me what to do. And guess what? You risk losing your relationship, and you lose that. Instead of putting away all the pride and all the selfishness and stubbornness and just working on stuff, you let that you lose out on a good thing. And sometimes when you lose good thing, you don't get it back. And it's just not good. To avoid all of that, let's be effective communicators. Okay. So now, building following God's blueprint for healthy communication in whatever relationship. And that's just going through the James 1:19 and just breaking it down. Breaking it down when it says, be slow, be quick to listen. Listen, listening is an act of love. You're going through something, and I'm just here to listen. Sometimes people just need that listening ear. Listen to what they got to say. And when you listen, you're saying to the person, you matter. You are important. I care about what you say. I care about what you're saying to me. And if someone tells you what's going on, they'll tell you what their concerns are. Don't see that as an attack. It's just like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm expressing that to you. And the other person on the other end receive that and be able to be like, you know what? I need to do better. I did this and it feel this way. Let me try and rectify that so we can have a healthy relationship. So You cannot understand someone if you're always preparing to reply. Always have that listening ear and try to understand instead of just wanting to reply at that moment. Your turn will come to reply, but just listen and understand and have the conversation. If the person misunderstood what you said, you can say, hey, that's not what I meant. This is what I meant. And be able to work things out. And then be slow to speak. Words spoken too quickly lead to apologies later. So instead of you apologizing all the time, just be slow to speak. Listen, let them tell you what they need to do. And sometimes just pause, pray, think. Don't just ask yourself if someone's talking to you and stuff like that before you just rush to speak. Ask yourself, what I'm about to say? Is this true? Is this loving? Is this necessary for me to say at this time? Because sometimes you gotta bite your tongue just to keep the peace. You have to bite your tongue. And if it's not something that is affecting you too badly or not affecting you, but it's affecting your partner or your friend or your relative, you can adjust because you adjusting is not going to cause any harm to you, but it will cause that other person to feel better and to foster this healthy relationship. And then you have speak life, not destruction. Because when you're mad, someone says something to you and it hits you to the core, our human response is to hit back. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You slap me, I'm gonna slap you back. But no, we shouldn't be in a place where we want to hurt back, even if it's not physical, just the words. And it says in Proverbs 18:21, the tongue has the power of life and death. You can kill somebody with your words, or but what you say can cause death to someone, not physically, but just your words can really, really hurt someone. And we don't want to be causing that problem. Your words can you want your words to heal and not wound. You want your words to be to correct in love and not try to control everything. And you want to speak with grace. I'm guilty about that too sometimes. I might mean well, but the tone or the way in which something might come out might not be too nice. So I'm working on that to work on my delivery and stuff. You can't just be too harsh with everything. You have to speak with grace and stuff like that. So I'm working on that, and I'm sure other people have that issue. We can all work on it together. So speak with grace and show people grace, and as you want them to show grace to you as well. So now we talk about all this stuff with the issues and stuff. Now we have like some practical communication tools that we can use to communicate effectively with our loved ones. Use I statement. For example, instead of saying, you never listen to me, say, you can try saying, I feel unheard when I'm interrupted. When I'm talking to you and you interrupt me, I feel unheard. This lowers defenses and open the conversation. And I I remember talking to a friend of mine and I was going through some issues and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to communicate with my partner, but they're not getting it. And she's like, well, maybe you should use words like I feel, I statement, I would love, like those kind of words and stuff. And trust me, I used those words and still didn't do anything because I was like, oh my gosh. But within that situation, everybody needed to be on the on the same page. The your partner or your friend needs to be able to be in the mindset to receive, because sometimes you might be doing the right thing, but the person is not in the mindset to receive it. It still will be bad. So everybody need to be on the same page, listening and coming from a place of love to resolve these issues, because it takes two to tango. It takes two to two coins to make noise. So we have to be on the same page with our partners to be able to communicate. And you can also learn to disagree without being disrespectful. Disagreement is normal because, like I said earlier, we're all different people from different background, different upbringing, and all of that stuff. I can disagree with you, but I don't have to be disrespectful. So we can disagree and not be disrespectful, because disrespect is a choice. You are choosing to say that or to do whatever you're doing. That's a choice. So healthy communication means no yelling, no name calling, no bringing up past mistakes. If we've dealt with something already, and you and your partner, or you've decided to move on from that, and if something new comes up, because something will always come up that we need to, as long as we're living, we're always going to have disagreement and stuff. So when the next thing come up, focus on what we're dealing with right now, and not something that happened already that we talked about and you bringing that back into this one. No, let that be. Let's address what's on the table. Don't bring our old stuff, especially if we talk about it, some the other person apologize and stuff. Then you, as a person, learn how to forgive and let things go and move on. Because not letting things go is another huge problem that causes breakdown in communication, because you're bringing out old stuff and all of that stuff. Let it go. Resolve this issue. Let's keep it pushing. And then no public embarrassment. You cannot just talk to your partner or your friend or whoever in a disrespectful way in front of people. That is unacceptable. And if you can do it in public, imagine what you're doing at home or when nobody is looking. Unacceptable. Be respectful. You don't want nobody to embarrass you in public, so you don't want to embarrass your friend, your spouse, your loved one. You don't want to embarrass people in public. And you can disagree and still be respectful. It's doable. I don't agree with that. I really don't like the way you talked to me earlier. No need of yelling and carrying all this stuff, but just be mature communicators, effective communicator, because the ultimate goal is to resolve issues and not to make it bigger than what it is, or just resolve the issues and move on. And some emotional safety in relationship. People open up when they feel safe. If you're a person that your person is not opening up to, maybe they don't feel safe about opening up to you. And that's conversation you need to have. Find out why this person is not safe to open up to you. And the person too can tell you, like, listen, I don't feel safe telling you this information because of dot, 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 dot. Let them tell you what's going on. And if that's something that you need to work on, then you work on that. And they don't feel safe to speak. Are you listening when they tell you something, or are you just shutting it down? If I feel, if we both create a space where we can speak openly and open up, yes. So if I feel safe to speak, we'll have that conversation. And do they feel safe to be honest? Can I be honest with this person without them judging me, or without them looking at me somehow, or looking at me in another way? Can I be, is it safe for me to be vulnerable with this person? Am I going to open up to you and can trust that you're not gonna go tell everybody about what I told you about? Can I be vulnerable with you and be safe that nobody else will find out what's going on with us, or with the friendship or the relationship or whatever it is? If someone doesn't feel emotionally safe, they will shut down or they will latch out, because they don't they don't feel safe. They don't feel that, okay, I can trust you in this relationship to open up. I would shut down when I feel like, okay, I'm not gonna say much stuff, or I'm gonna latch out because I don't want to talk either. So either way, so we need to create that safe environment with our relationship to be able to communicate effectively. And in order that, you can ask yourself, do people feel safe talking with me? And we can all ask ourselves that question. Someone come to you and tell you something, they don't even have to say, if it's some important information that is vital and stuff like that, they don't even need to say, oh, don't tell anybody. You can be that safe person and keep their stuff. And that's something we all can work on, because sometimes we hear something, people talk to each other, oh my God, oh, did you did you hear this? Like, we don't want to be gossiping about other people's stuff, and we can all work on that. And healing broken relationship. How can we heal broken relationship? If communication is already damaged, healing is possible, but it requires us to be humble, to not be prideful, to humble ourselves, to try and rebuild that relationship. And we have to be sincere when we apologize. Don't just apologize to somebody just to get the word out and then go and do the same thing or still have the same behaviors and stuff. If you're apologizing, be sincere about your apology and be willing to change. And the big, huge one, forgiveness. I got a video on forgiveness. Not letting things go. That's one of the issues that can really, 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 really affect relationship and leads to breakdown, the demise, the end of a relationship. Unforgiveness. Your partner or your friend does something to you. You hold on to it, you make assumption, you don't want to let it go, and it causes that issue. Be able to heal. And it's always been said that forgiveness is not even for the other person, because you don't want to be going around with all this stuff. Like, I saw this video of this pastor. He was preaching, and he had this lady, she was on stage, and he had a bag, and he kept on putting stuff in the bag. Said, okay, let's say your husband said something to you, he cheated or did a whole bunch of stuff, and he just kept packing stuff in that bag. And then that relationship came to an end, but she was still walking around with that bag. She go to another person, the same thing. So forgiveness is put the bag down, is putting the bag down, put that load down, because the person that is suffering is you. It's heavy. You're heavy. You got attitude. You sometimes you just see some people, you just know, like, oh my God, I just want to pray for you so you can get it together, because nasty attitude, just mean. It's like they got so much stuff going. You can tell a person who is unforgiving by just the way they act. They just got so much heaviness on them. Just let it go. Put it down, forgive, and move on. Listen, I ain't got time to be carrying no heavy load on my back. I do not. I do not. Like I, I don't like no stress. I ain't got time for too much stuff. I tell my friends I need to make a shirt. I'm too cute to be stressed. Ain't nobody about to stress me out. So put the bag down, leave it right there, and free yourself to be light and free. Because that other person that you're mad at or holding things against, sometimes they don't even know what's going on. And you over here carrying that heavy load, put it down. Forgive. Learn new habits. Do new things. Learn new things. And in Colossians 3:13, it reminds us to bear one another's burden and forgive. Bear with one another and forgive. Let it go and move on, because you don't want your relationship to be in trouble or to come to an end because of lack of communication, lack of unforgiveness, and all of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Just put the bag down, put the heavy bag down, and free yourself. And change begin when both hearts choose humility over pride. Both people got to be on the same page. Both people have to be intentional. One of my words that I live by is to be intentional. Be intentional about what you're doing, be intentional about your communication and all of that stuff. Because you want to have healthy relationship, effective communication, and just living in harmony with people. Having that skill to resolve conflict, put the bag down, and free yourself. So, healthy communication doesn't mean perfect communication. It means intentional communication, intentional hearts coming together to say, hey, we're going to do this. We chose to, for a marital relationship, we chose to be in this together. We chose to do life together. Because one thing I don't understand, why would people choose to do life together, but then they want to make each other miserable? If we decided that we're going to walk this life together, work this journey together, why would I want to make you miserable? You make me miserable. It doesn't make any sense. How are we walking down this road and we not talking? And we're supposed to be partners in this, but we can't even communicate effectively. We're not on the same page. Of course, eventually, we're not even going on this journey. This journey about to be over because we can't go like this. So we both need to be intentional, working on things and heading the same direction, resolving our issues, working things out so we can be able to move on. And if you've been in a situation where that didn't work out, now you can learn for the next time, for the next relationship or friendship, to do it better. Learn to do it better. Put away your old habits. Learn how to do new things. And if this video resonated with you, I need you to like, share, and comment. Comment what you think. You can subscribe, share it with people so we can build our community. So having effective communication it is the most important thing in any relationship. And when it comes to marital relationship, people don't break up because they fell out of love or they don't love each other. They break up because we just can't get it together. We're not on the same page. Communication is not working. We don't know how to work it out. And some people don't even know or want to go get help to help them get on the right path. So if this resonates with you, because if we become effective communicators, we will have healthy relationship. And if we have healthy relationship at home, we become better people in our environment. And if we become our better self, we can impact our environment in a better way. So let's learn how to be effective communicators so we can live in harmony with our loved ones and be better people so we can impact our environment in a better way. Better you, better world. Thank you for joining me wherever you're watching from. I pray that you have a good day, a good night, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.